Welcome everyone. It is July 18th, 2017. It is 6:30 p.m. I'm going to call to order this regular business meeting of the Laramie City Council. The first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please rise and join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Gabriel.
Here.
Hanson, absent. Henry.
Here.
McKinney.
Here.
Palikas, absent. Shumway, absent. Schuster.
Here.
Pierce.
Here.
Somerville.
Here.
That is 6 present and 3 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. So the next item on our agenda will be a presentation from the Laramie Youth Council delegate. I believe we have Hannah Johnson in the audience. If you'd like to come forward. She has some information for us about what the Laramie Youth Council has been up to. The stage is yours.
Okay, well, I'm going to pass around this picture of all the delegates, if I can unroll it, of all the delegates that ended up going to this year's CONA,
And could you tell us what CONA stands for?
Okay, CONA stands for the Conference on National Affairs, and it's held on Black Mountain, in North Carolina every single year, and this year was its 50th anniversary.
Very nice.
Okay, so there were about 34 different groups that ended up going this year, and I was part of the ambassador delegation, meaning it was composed of states that did not have their own youth and government program through the YMCA in that state. And so this was the first year that anyone from Wyoming had gone, and there were 4 people from Wyoming, but I was the only one from Laramie. Okay, so what it was it was a way to, it was a group, all of us were, came up with proposal ideas about stuff we were passionate about and things we wanted to see change within the government. So there were 644 different proposals, which is the largest number they've ever had. And sorry, I'm a little bit nervous.
You are doing wonderfully. Keep going.
And so what it was like is there were several different committees, and so in our first committee there were 27 different groups of first committee, and all the proposals were arranged by topic. So there were economics and a bunch of different ones, and I was part of the Omega committee. We got so many that we ran out of letters in the alphabet, in the English alphabet, but mine had a lot about gerrymandering and a lot about different things that didn't really fit into any of the other categories because they were really unique. And so my proposal was on creating quote-unquote homeless shelters out of abandoned malls in the United States. And out of those first committees, there were 17, 18, 19 proposals in each first committee, and you were, in the beginning you were allowed to combine with other people, or you could make amendments to your own proposal. And then when first committee started, you couldn't do that anymore for the rest of the conference. So people would combine and stuff. And so after everyone presented, we would rank the proposals in how well they did in presentation and feasibility and all a bunch of different factors. And the 6 lowest scores, because the scoring system is 1 is the best, 5 is the worst. So the 6 out of each first committee with the lowest would go on to second committee, and then that would group 3 first committees together, and you would be debating all 18, and then after that you would get all mixed up, so you wouldn't have to keep debating the same proposals. And there were 20 in in each of the next, and there were only 5 of those groups. And then after that, it's the 30 top ones. So they take the top 10 and they separate it out to another day, and then they take the remaining 20 and mix them all up, like not according to rank or anything, just randomized it and split it into 2 and split all of the delegates into 2 so that you could, like at that point, you would pass or fail the proposal. And it's not a bill because it's not actually a bill, it's just a term that we use. And then that was called General Assembly, and then in plenary session, those were the top 10 out of all 644 proposals that got debated. And there were 2 people from my first committee that ended up combining on a bill about gerrymandering, and they ended up making it to the top 10, and their proposal passed, which was really, really cool to see. And it was just really, really a super fun experience and really interesting in a good way, like a really good thing to learn about.
That sounds amazing.
It was so much fun. Do you guys have any questions or things you want to hear about, like specifics?
That's a good question. Does anybody have any questions? So I guess I have one for you. I know that you're one of a few, I think there's 12 in last year's class, Laramie Youth Council delegates. And what would you like to do with your fellow Youth Council delegates? How would you use this information to help the Youth Council? Or have you thought about that? That might be an unfair question.
Well, I think it would help us like strengthen our parliamentary procedure. Like in Youth Council, we're pretty loose on parliamentary procedure because it's mainly about like feeling out how it works and less about being really strict about it, which I really enjoy. But I also like, maybe we could like, I think what we could do is we do like some meetings that are strictly parliamentary procedure, like follow the exact rules, and then maybe some be really loose or like have a mixture of both in that meeting. And then also like use that opportunity to like maybe link like city issues to statewide issues and national issues even, because like even though we don't have things like gerrymandering in Wyoming because we just don't have enough representatives, it's maybe something we should like learn about more, like bring in a little bit of that like national information into that.
That's wonderful. Well, I really look forward to having you share all of your stuff with the Laramie Youth Council when they get started back up in the fall. And I hope you're going to continue to serve on the Laramie Youth Council.
I plan on it.
I appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming tonight and telling us about your trip and your experience.
Thank you so much for supporting Laramie Youth Council and supporting that whole program.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Hannah. Our next item on our agenda will be a public hearing. City Clerk, can you read the notice, please?
Notice is hereby given that on the 3rd day of July 2017, an application was received in the office of the City Clerk for transfer of ownership of retail liquor license number 26 from the Crowbar and Grill LLC, DBA The Crowbar and Grill, 202 South 2nd Street, Laramie, Wyoming, to Glenn's and Turner LLC, DBA G&T, 807 South 9th Street, Laramie, Wyoming. Public hearing to hear comments or protests relative to this transfer of ownership of this license will be held Tuesday, July 18th, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. in Council Chambers of City Hall. Action on this application will be considered at the regular meeting of the City Council on Tuesday, August 15, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. in Council Chambers.
Thank you. So at this time, I will open the floor to any public comment on this retail liquor license transfer? Is there anybody in the public that would wish to make a comment on this? Seeing none, I will close that public hearing. Next item on our agenda is a second public hearing on a bar and grill liquor license application. City Clerk, can you read the notice, please?
Notice is hereby given that on the third day of July 2017, the following have filed applications for new bar and grill liquor licenses in the office of the City Clerk of the City of Laramie, Wyoming for the following described places and premises. The Crow Bar and Grill, LLC, DBA The Crow Bar and Grill, 202 South 2nd Street, Laramie, Wyoming, entire building. Speed Goat Laramie, LLC, DBA Speed Goat, 213 Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming, entire building. Arsenio Lemus Holdings, LLC, DBS Los Compadres, 303 South 3rd Street, Laramie, Wyoming, entire building. Heritage Foods Company, DBA to be determined, 216 East Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming, entire building. Public hearing to hear comments or protests relative to application on these licenses will be held Tuesday, July 18, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. in Council Chambers of City Hall, 406 Ivinson Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. The Speed Goat Laramie LLC, Arsenio Lemus Holdings LLC, and Heritage Food Company applications will be considered at the regular meeting of the City Council on Tuesday, July 18, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. in Council Chambers. Action on the Crow Bar and Grill LLC application will be considered at the regular meeting of the City Council on Tuesday, August 15, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. in Council Chambers.
Thank you very much, City Clerk. I will open the floor to any public comment on any of these bar and grill liquor license applications. Is there anybody who wishes to make a public comment at this time? And we will give an option for the applicants to speak when the licenses come up on the regular agenda as well. Any public comment on these? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close that public hearing. Next item on our agenda is announcements. City staff, do we have any announcements?
We have an announcement from the Laramie Police Department.
Okay.
And Council, very quickly, I want to give you a heads up that we're changing our emergency notification vendor. We've been with Code Red for about the last 10 years. We're going to move to a new platform, and you'll start seeing media on that beginning next week. And we hope to make the change somewhere around the 2nd of August. So if you have questions, feel free to call me, but you'll start seeing a lot of stuff on it next week.
Thank you very much. Any further announcements?
I believe the city attorney here.
City attorney?
Well, Mayor, if you want me to,
Yes, I think we should do that for, I think most of the applicants are in the audience, so let's go ahead.
Mayor, Council, I wanted to confirm the email that I sent late this afternoon, which you may not have seen. An issue has arisen because, as you will note, with the it has to do with the proration of liquor licenses. Because as you'll see on the cover sheet for the 3 applicants that are before you tonight, their first year fees are prorated. And I'll need to know tonight, I suppose I'll hear a discussion whether that's an issue for council, and if so, I'll have to work with the clerk to see if that issue can be resolved. It arises this way. We have probably 70 liquor licenses of various types out in this community. Like almost all cities in Wyoming, we can do it one of two ways. You could have rolling resubmittals, reapplications, reapprovals, meaning that there'd be 70 different dates during the year when each license would be renewed, and it would be a nightmare for a clerk's office. So almost all cities of any size do it the way we do it, by ordinance, which is the renewal of liquor licenses, their approval by you, are done on a date certain. They're done in May each year. That way the clerk's office can handle that large volume. It all comes to you in one package, and you can deal with it. Well, under state statute, if cities choose that method, and they all do of any size, state statute says, well, that means that if somebody applies before May, could be July, the year before, that their license fee will be prorated because they'll have that license until the following May, when they'll have to reapply and get reapproved. So that's by state statute. Now, our ordinances also mirror state statute, and that is how we have done it here in the city for as long as anyone can remember. So the situation arises, though, and you'll note it on your cover sheets, that just recently you established new fees for various classes of licenses. So you have, had for bar and grills said $5,000 for the first year, $3,000 thereafter. I think that's right. So we have bar and grill, we have new licenses now, and they'll be granted if they're granted, about now or next month. So they will need to be prorated. That first year fee has to, by state statute, be prorated. It's that simple. And so on your cover sheets, you'll see that the license fees are more around $4,000 than $5,000. So I will hear tonight, I suppose, during discussion, whether that's an issue for you at all. In this case, it's all three applicants were approved, it'd be a $3,000 issue. Okay, if it is an issue, then I'm going to have to work with the clerk and the city staff to see what could be done about that. We could change ordinances in some fashion. We could take a look at the fee schedule, which you don't set by ordinance, but you set by resolution, to see if that can be addressed. The applicants are here in the room. I think that we wanted, or I would suggest that you disclose to the applicants your reasoning if you do want to address this issue. Because certainly they would understand that they'd have a proration, and then in the next year it would go to $3,000 and be $3,000 until you changed it for everybody. So I would suggest that the applicants be informed if you find this to be an issue and want to explore it.
Thank you, City Attorney. Next item on our agenda is disclosures by city council members. Are there any disclosures tonight on items that we'll be discussing? Seeing none, move on to item number 6. I will turn that over to the Vice Mayor.
Okay, I move that the following changes to the agenda be approved. On our regular agenda, item 18 will be deleted. And item number 21, we are going to add some information or topics to our executive session. So it will read adjournment to executive session regarding litigation, Wyoming statutes 16-4-405A with exceptions 3 for land negotiations. No, litigation, exception 3, land negotiations, exception 7, confidential information, exception 9, and personnel, exception 2.
Second for those changes. Second by Councilor Henry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Vice Mayor,
Okay, I move that the agenda be set as changed.
is there a second for that?
Second.
Second by Councilor Henry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Vice Mayor.
Okay, I move that the consent agenda be approved and that each specific action on the consent agenda be approved as indicated.
We have a second by Councilor Schuster. City Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Gabriel.
Yes.
Hanson absent. Henry.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Polikis absent. Shumway absent. Schuster.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
That's 6 yeses, 0 nos, and 3 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you. The motion carries. Moving on to the items on the regular agenda. Count number 10 is Councilor Schuster, please.
Thank you very much. The title of this is Original Ordinance Number 1971 by setting court automation fees. I move to approve Original Ordinance Number 1971 on second reading by setting court automation fees.
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Director Brown.
Yes, Mayor, this is second reading. The legislature put in enactment enrollment in place this year to have the court automation fee go from $10 up to $25. Of that $25, $10 could be held by the city to help with our citation digiticket software that we implemented in the police mobile units and the courts. This act is just updating and complying with what the state statute has requested us to do. And since we're using that software, it appears that we should probably go along with what the court wanted. So we're just changing the ordinance, and then on third reading, we'll bring also a resolution to set the fee.
Thank you. Any questions for Director Brown? Thank you. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none. Discussion by council on this item? City Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Schuster.
Yes.
Shumway, absent. Polikis, absent. McKinney.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Hanson, absent. Gabriel.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
That is 6 yeses, 0 nos, and 3 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you. That motion carries. On to item number 11. Councilor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. This is approval of a proposed striping plan for the Garfield Street corridor between 30th and Boulder Drive. And I would move that the following modifications to traffic control be approved as indicated. Number 1, removal of existing striping on Garfield Street between 30th and Boulder Drive. And number 2, installation of proposed striping as designated in Exhibit 1, Garfield Street proposed striping.
You have a second for that?
Second.
Second by Councilor Henry. City staff, Engineer Jeff.
Your Honorable Mayor, members of council, the item before you, I believe most of you are familiar with. Concerns for pedestrian, bicycle, and traffic safety along Garfield corridor between 30th and Boulder has been a topic and concern and discussion for over 2 years. The amount of parking within sight distance triangles creates an unsafe condition in this corridor, and this condition has only grown with the opening of the new high school. Back in 2015, this item appeared before Traffic Commission several times and was, at the end, recommended for approval to City Council. It then appeared before City Council and failed. It then reappeared before City Council with 2 separate motions to substitute the parallel parking with back-end diagonal parking and to remand the striping for Garfield Street back to Traffic Commission. Based on council's direction to staff to seek additional solution, staff retained the services of Dow to review the existing striping plans that had been done, to come up with alternative solutions, and also to attend stakeholder meetings with staff in the area. The goal of the design was to improve the sight distance triangles at all accesses along the corridor and to maintain parking spots for the heavily used portions of Garfield Street. Dow was successful in developing a plan that met the sight distance criteria while satisfying the needs of the business community. And the major differences and similarities between the current recommendation and the previous plan are as follows. We no longer are going to be installing a 2-way left-hand turn lane along the entire corridor. Instead, we'll be installing dedicated turn lanes just at the intersections. To make up for the loss in the parallel parking spaces, Dow designed back-end diagonal parking spaces along the Laramie GM frontage of Garfield Street and also on the east end of Regency Drive north of Garfield Street. This increased the parking in that area. The bike lane along Garfield Street is still proposed to be eliminated. However, the existing mixed-use path on the south side of Garfield Street can accommodate the 2-way directional bicycle traffic, and then also a no left turn sign at the exit to the south access A&B Bank will also be installed. This helps to improve the safety of Garfield Street, Boulder Drive intersection directly adjacent to the south axis of A&B Bank. The proposed striping plan focuses on maintaining existing parking space numbers around the highest use areas, Regency Drive, while maintaining safe sight triangle spacing at all intersections and business access locations. Dow did perform an inventory of the number of parking spaces around Regency Drive, which is the most populated area, shown in Exhibit B in your packet, I believe. But the proposed changes result in a net increase of approximately 26 spaces in the most congested area. This item has appeared before Traffic Commission. It appeared on July 13th and was fully recommended for council approval. By utilizing back and diagonal parking, the City of Laramie and Dow have been able to increase parking for the majority of stakeholders around Regency Drive on the Garfield corridor while improving sight distance triangles and safety at the intersections. Therefore, staff recommends implementation of the proposed striping plan as developed by Dow. That I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions for Engineer Jett? Vice Mayor?
So the bike path off the street, how wide is that?
Your Honorable Mayor, Councilor Pierce, I believe that is a 10-foot path. It does narrow down right around the Garfield Street bridge, but it is a 10-foot path along the entire corridor.
Thank you.
Other questions? Councilor Gabriel?
Yes, I was just curious, you had favorable response from GM. You reached out to the two banks, A and B, and Western States, did not get a response. Any idea why?
Your Honorable Mayor, Councilor Gabriel, I do not know. A and B did appear before Traffic Commission and was in favor of the no left turn lane. They were a little bit concerned about large vehicle parking right adjacent to their business. However, when the sight distance triangles were showed to Traffic Commission, it was felt that the safety was more important than the possibility of just one vehicle that could be parked there. And there was no space based on the sight triangle analysis for a vehicle to park next to their area.
Councilor Schuster?
I do have a wild question now that they say that. I've seen vehicles being repaired where they have a 45-foot trailer or something behind it. Are they going to just take up 20 spots like I've seen them do downtown, or what do you think they'll do on that?
Your Honorable Mayor, Councilor Schuster, there is still several large space parallel parking spaces. They're a little bit farther, not in the main corridor area, but there is places for large vehicles to park. I know that Ridley's has loading for semis, and there is adequate spacing in those areas for those vehicles to still park based on the design.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for city staff? Councilor Gabriel?
Maybe just another comment. There's an overlay project that is planned for this summer. Can you just review that briefly and how the restriping will work?
Okay, Your Honorable Mayor, Councilor Gabriel. There is an overlay job that will appear for approval in council, I believe sometime around mid-August is what our plan is. As part of the overlay job, the contractor will do the striping plan for the city. So the striping plan that you see here before tonight will be added to the design plans of that overlay job, and it will be implemented. The striping plan will be implemented as soon as the overlay job is completed.
And the time frame again on the overlay, will it be before school starts?
Unfortunately, it probably will not, with it being awarded in August. We will try to push the contractor as soon as we can with that. It will probably be completed, we're hoping sometime in September, but we will push them as hard as we can and note the concern in this area to complete it.
Any other questions for city staff? Councilor McKinney?
Thank you, Mayor. What's the width of lanes for the cars?
Yeah, Your Honorable Mayor, Councilor McKinney, the width of the lane will be 12 feet, and there is a little bit of a buffer space in there for the back end diagonal parking as well.
What about, what's GM going to do when it comes to the car haulers that they have to unload? Are they going to park out on Grand Avenue in the middle? They usually use Garfield if there's no room if you do this.
I do not know the answer to that. However, I don't know if there is a representative from GM here tonight. However, I do not know what their answer for the car haulers is.
Any other questions for city staff? Councilor Gabriel?
Concerning that, Charles, I have seen the GM store park in the middle on Grand.
On Grand every once in a while, yeah, when there's blockage on Garfield.
So,
yes.
okay.
But I mean, I'm also concerned about turning. We're gonna end up with trucks coming in and all the way around out here to get in through here. If you're coming through here, if you have two trucks back there, like a Murdoch truck and another truck, you're gonna create a problem at this corner with the turning lanes like that. Making a right-hand turn from there, they're gonna be in the driving lane, not the turning lane. I mean, I can see several issues. I mean, you're taking the bike path off the road where it's supposed to be, and you're putting it up on the sidewalk, basically. Correct?
City staff, could you clarify where the bike path is and the
The
existing
bike
path
path
that's
is
there?
this here, right?
Yeah, Your Honorable Mayor, Councilor McKinney, that is a bike path.
The asphalt.
The
Yeah,
asphalt piece, yeah.
Okay, so, but once they get over here, this is sidewalk and this is sidewalk?
No, that is actually a bike path.
Do you still consider it a bike path?
Shared use path, yes.
So
It
what's the
is,
difference
it's
between a
designed
bike
for
path
that.
and a sidewalk? Difference of width?
Yes, that is one of the biggest reasons. Average sidewalk is 5
It's
feet.
illegal to ride a bicycle on a city sidewalk. Yes?
City staff, could you clarify the difference between a sidewalk width and a multi-use path?
A multi-use path is 10 feet wide. A sidewalk is 5 feet wide. The pathway is designed for two-way bicycle traffic in it, where the sidewalk is designed for only pedestrian use.
Semantics.
Thank you. Right now, I'd like to open it up to public comment. First, if there's any representative of any businesses that want to make any comments, I will open it up to them first. Please come forward. If you could introduce yourself, your name for the record, and then City Clerk, do you have a sheet for them to sign for public comment? She will have a sheet for you to sign. Go right ahead.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, my name is Bane Boos. I am an attorney at Corthell and King, and we were retained by Laramie GM to be available for this issue specifically because they weren't always available or able to be available. So traffic commission meetings, city council meetings, I've been representing them on this issue for several months. So I know more about city streets and striping now than I ever thought I would. So what I wanted to say tonight was just that we at Laramie GM appreciated the openness and the willing to work with us that the city exhibited, that Dowell exhibited. There were pretty big concerns about losing a massive amount of parking for not just employees, but also customers. And there were some issues that came up even when the plan was essentially finalized like it is now on South Regency Drive there, because the church is back there now. That's actually paved. It's got sidewalks on it now, which this picture doesn't show, but originally it was striped yellow the entire distance, and a lot of the elderly customers actually park over there and cross Garfield. And so that was an issue that was brought up by Brad Morehouse when we met with the city in Dowell, and we were able to work through that and get that fixed so that the customers would still have the parking over there. So that's the main reason that I'm here tonight, is just to voice our support of this and to thank the city and Dowell for working with us and being so willing to work with us. I don't have an answer for you on the car haulers. Much like Councilman Gabriel, I have seen them parked in the middle of Grand frequently. And so I guess I'm hopeful that that's where it would remain, but if the city council would like an answer to that, I can definitely get an answer from Brad Morehouse and get that to the council as soon as possible. But if there's any other questions for me as a representative of Laramie GM, I'm more than willing to do my best to try and answer them. Otherwise, our big thing was safety, and it wasn't just safety of employees and parking spots for employees. It had to do with a lot of the customers that park. We have a lot of young kids that work at the detail shop, which is there just north of Regency, the bottom left corner of that picture. And they're college kids and some high school kids, and so having them crossing the street and taking cars back and forth, safety was an issue, and the speeds get pretty high out there if there's no striping. So, safety of the customers, safety of the employees, and then the parking for the employees. And we felt like the compromise was a great compromise. It worked out well, and that the city and Dowell took the stakeholders' feelings and opinions, as much as they could, and were more than willing to work with us. So, just want to say thanks on that. So,
I appreciate
if there's
that.
any questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, I'll let you guys get on with your meeting.
Okay. I will, generally we don't do back and forth between public comment, but I think it would be appropriate to, if there's any questions for any of the adjoining businesses right now. So Councilor Henry, if you have a question.
So overall, Laramie GM is happy with the new plan that's before us right now?
Very happy.
Okay, good. That's all I need to know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
Are there any other representative of businesses that are affected by the striping plan that want to come forward? Seeing none, any general public comment? Anybody that wants to come forward to offer comment on this? All right, seeing none, I'll go back to council. Any further discussion from City Council on this. Counselor Schuster.
I'll make one comment. I don't know if it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but you are correct. It is against the law to ride a bicycle on a public sidewalk except for two exceptions, 3rd Street and Grand, because neither one of those have a bike lane to them. So it is said if there is no bike lane, that it is acceptable on that.
Thank you. Any other discussion from City Council on this? Any comments? Councilor McKinney.
I just have a comment
Please.
so you're trying, all they're doing is they're taking away their bicycle lane on the pavement to be able to get the extra room to be able to do the diagonal parking. And we already have diagonal parking downtown by the, I forget what's the name of it, on, what, 7th Street?
No, adjoining the Laramie Plains Museum.
Back in diagonal.
Back in
Yeah,
diagonal.
the mansion, yeah. And I can tell you many times, even though you have the diagonal, even though you're gonna take away the 10-foot bike path, even you're gonna run into a problem with people because you have new trucks that are getting bigger and bigger every day. They're getting longer and they're sticking farther out. And if you think that people are gonna park appropriately, somebody's gonna get hit. Somebody's gonna run into a car. That's gonna cause a lot of problems. I don't feel that there's enough room for that. I have to cross the white line on 7th Street with my tow truck and a truck on the car, on the hook. I think it's gonna create a problem. I think it's not enough room. I don't think it's wide enough. If they took away the curb and the sidewalk, maybe. But you have, the trucks are getting longer, they're getting wider, they're getting bigger. You have trucks out there that are 45 and 5500s that are massive, that people are driving. They don't fit in the parking spots already. That's all I have to say.
Any other comments from council on this? I will make one brief, Councilor Henry, please.
Well, I want to thank city manager for allowing the staff to go to Dowell and working with them to come up with a new plan that everybody can be happy with. I'm happy with it.
All right. Councilor Schuster?
One little one, I agree with you. The crew cab, long bed, I think are up to 27 feet long now. I knew a person that had to have his garage added on to so he could park his truck in his garage. And it's, when you try to go downtown right now with a crew cab sitting in a parking place diagonally, it's terrible. You do have to cross the center line to get around them. I don't know what to do to say to fix that, but yeah, you're probably gonna have a little bit of that problem there, being that pickup sales are the #1 selling vehicle in the United States right now. It's not even a car.
I'll make one comment, and that is, this is the third time that this has been in front of us.
I'm gonna support it.
This is vastly different from what we saw before in terms of the public support and the outreach. I want to thank the city staff for everything that they've done and been dealing with this issue for about 18 months now. So I'm very happy with the plan. I'm very happy with that the businesses are supportive, so I'm fully in support of this plan. And if anybody is in doubt of why we need to do this, just go out and try to turn left on Garfield or drive down that street, and you'll very quickly get an education of why we have to restripe the plan. So with that, are there any other comments? All right, City,
I'll
Vice
go.
Mayor?
This is the third time we've done this, and I have to tell you, I believe it's the best of the three, but I don't think it's perfect yet. But I think I will vote to approve this because this is the third time we've done this. But it could really be it could be a problem. I mean, we'll just see, I guess, and if there's safety issues that we need to address down the road, we'll have to do that. But again, staff have worked hard. Dell coming in on this version has been great, and I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens.
Councilor McKinney?
I just have one final comment. the way that you have the diagonals there and the way the trucks are set up today, you will have to back out a minimum of probably 2 feet to be able to see somebody coming. By the time you get done with that 2 feet, somebody will be running into that pickup truck. That's what I'm gonna say.
Thank you. Any other comments? City Clerk, roll call, please.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
McKinney,
No.
Pierce,
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
That's 5 yeses, 1 no, and 3 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, that motion carries. Moving on to item number 12, Counselor Henry.
Counselor Henry.
Counselor Henry.
I move to approve the Grandview Heights 7th filing final plat based on findings of fact and conclusions of law, acknowledge receipt of the financial security and the subdivision security and improvement deferral acknowledgement form, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the plat.
Second.
Second by Counselor Schuster. Planning Manager Teeny.
Mayor and council, good evening. The item before you is the Grandview Heights 7th filing. It's a final plat that's associated with the Grandview Heights subdivision. The Grandview Heights subdivision is generally the subdivision that's located south of Walmart, and in the Bill Nye, where the new Bill Nye corridor has been constructed. It's actually both north and south of Bill Nye. This piece here, the 7th filing, is the first piece that's south of Bill Nye. It's a fairly small plat in terms of the number of residential units. It's 22 units that are for twin home development. They're located around a cul-de-sac, which is Plateau Court, that comes off of Bill Nye, and then a large park area that is part of the planned unit development and requirement for this subdivision. So I'm going to hit on just a few items. The main item being this is a mainly residential subdivision, as I noted. This is some of the last twin home lots, I believe, within the full PUD. There is development that is still to occur north of Bill Nye within this planned unit development and subdivision, as well as to the west and to the east of this physical plat that you see before you. I also want to provide a little bit of clarity. There was a 6th filing that has not been completed yet. If you remember, a few months ago, that was pulled back by the applicant. Those were single-family homes. They felt the market was different, and so they've brought this forward to advance this. We've kept the same numbering just for ease and sake of record keeping. So really the numbers, though, don't matter. It's appropriate in terms of order. In this location, though, as I noted, a cul-de-sac will be built. The cul-de-sac will be a typical cul-de-sac, typical width street. In this area, though, the streets are 50 feet wide. That was one of the PUD allowances during the original subdivision. The sidewalk does go around all sides, and there is a connection from the out end of the sidewalk back up to Bill Nye through the park. That was something that was noted, just we knew foot traffic would be going out the end of that cul-de-sac. We do have a separated and a connected sidewalk along Bill Nye. There's some design things that we're taking a look at. We're going to primarily have a separated sidewalk, but there's a few spots we might have to attach it to the Bill Nye corridor. We felt it was best in design to do that in terms of the overall area. One thing to note too, the area that's all south of Bill Nye, that's part of the park or the open space piece, that is a future park. It's shown in the Parks and Rec master plan that was recently adopted. That property is about 10 acres in size. With this subdivision, you will see the land being dedicated, as that was what they needed to do. There will be limited improvements within that area, minus some grading, some reseeding, as well as some of the detention pieces that are very far down at the very edge of the property. In terms of the both the PUD compliance, this final plat meets all of those requirements for, it matches up with what the original intent of the PUD was, and it matches with the final PUD that is recorded and with the county. Also, in terms of the subdivision for the preliminary plat, this final plat meets all those requirements of the preliminary plat. Staff does recommend approval of this. We have had a few public comments regarding this subdivision, but mostly just related to what was going on, not necessarily concerns brought up about the actual subdivision itself. I'd be happy to answer any specific questions. I know that the applicant's representative is here as well if you have any questions for him.
Questions for city staff? Counselor Schuster.
I have one. Dave has always asked about the connectivity. Is there a sidewalk coming out of the middle of the cul-de-sac connecting anywhere else? Just a curiosity question. I'm not. But he always, that was a big thing for him, so I'm gonna ask.
Mayor and council, yes. So what you have is you have a sidewalk that goes around the cul-de-sac, but then there's a connection from the end of the cul-de-sac. So I'm just going to say the western end of the bulb there. That goes. It actually just goes straight north almost to connect back into the Bill Nye sidewalk that's there because that's where people will go. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Does the applicant wish to make any comments this evening on this plat? Nope. Not required, just an offer. Any public comment on this plat? Seeing none, back to council for discussion. Any discussion? Comments from council? City clerk, roll call, please.
Henry.
Yes.
Hanson, absent. Gabriel.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Kalikas, absent. Shumway, absent. Schuster.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
6 yeses, 0 nos, and 3 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, that motion carries. On to item number 13, Counselor Henry.
Yes, I move to approve the Lakefront subdivision final plat based on findings of fact and conclusions of law, acknowledge receipt of the financial security and the subdivision security and improvement deferral acknowledgement form, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the plat.
Second.
Second by Counselor Schuster. City staff. Planner Bloom. It feels like it's been forever. Welcome.
Indeed. Honorable Mayor and City Council, what we have in front of us is the final piece of the puzzle of the Levante Park replat. It started several years back, actually a few years back, where it was decided it was in the best interest of the city to vacate the underlying subdivisions, which had essentially created a bunch of paper streets and alleys that are only visible on a map. So despite how the park and the surrounding city shops and lands that are occupied by the Safe House, by the Crisis Center, by Fort Sanders building, the street shop, despite how those are all laid out, there's actually a city grid system that is underlaid. So you have ghost streets and alleys. So what the plan here is to vacate all of the underlying plats and then replat all the property to create 9 lots. One of the lots will reflect the actual boundaries of Levante Park. Another lot will reflect the Fort Sanders building. Another lot will represent several of the city buildings. There'll be one for the Crisis Center. There'll also be one for the streets building and that water station. Throughout this process, we've had a lot of public comment, mostly at the preliminary plat stage. I think people got all of their fears about sale of the park out at that time frame, at that time. With this latest final plat, we did an extensive public outreach prior to alert people as to what was going on, and we had several comments, but not near as many or no fear that we were redeveloping the park. The long-range plan for this area does show for future improvements to Levante Park whenever the city does have money to do those improvements. There is an attachment that's included in your staff report. That attachment does show a conceptual design of future enhancements and different facilities in that area. So this plat is not planned to encumber those plans or to make it so the park cannot develop in that way. The Planning Commission did review this at their first meeting in June, and they did recommend approval of this final plat as submitted. I'm open for any questions you may have regarding this, and staff and the Planning Commission do recommend approval.
Thank you. Questions for Senior Planner Bloom? Seeing none, thank you. We'll open this up to public comment. Do you have any comment on this item? Seeing none, back to council for discussion on this item. Seeing no discussion, comments? City Clerk, roll call, please.
Henry.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Hanson absent, Pelikas absent, Shumway absent, Schuster.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
That's 6 yeses, 0 nos, and 3 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, that motion carries. On to item number 14, Councilor McKinney.
Recommended council motion that the city council approve the application for bar and grill liquor license number BG-6 to Speed Goat Laramie LLC DBA, Speed Goat 213 Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming, for the licensing term August 20th, 2017 through May 7th, 2018, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Second by Councilor Schuster. City Clerk.
Yes, Your Honor, Council, there was an application for a bar and grill liquor license from Speed Goat Laramie LLC. The application has been deemed complete by the Liquor Division. The applicant is here. If you have any questions for the applicant, I do believe that they would like to provide you just a brief explanation of their goal in this new facility. Also, the planning department is also still here if you have any questions regarding zoning or planning issues on these applications.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for just the city clerk right now? Okay, so we'll open it up to the applicant. Invite the applicant up if they'd like to tell us a little bit about what they'd like to do. If you could introduce yourself for the record.
Mayor, Council, my name is Rajiv Patel.
Mayor and Council, I am Tim Hinchin.
Welcome.
Is there any specific questions we can answer for Mayor or the Council?
I think it would be helpful for the council if you provided a brief overview of what you're doing, as I believe this is a new business, building remodel,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Just, doesn't have to be long, just a brief overview of what you're doing.
Yeah, so Mayor and Council, we are looking to do a complete remodel at 203. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, 203 Grand Avenue. We're looking to do a completely new concept. We'll be installing a new kitchen. We'll be redoing the face of the building.
Pretty much gutting the entire thing.
Pretty much gutting the entire thing.
Walls.
Yeah. So we're looking to move in and do a menu that really hasn't been done here around Laramie. So we kind of want to stand out a little bit more and offer something new.
We want to provide for a separate bar area and a dining area, and even though the new liquor laws that you guys voted on, we want to make our bar area for 21 and older, just so there's a separation if people want to come in and don't want to be around families, which we want to have families there also, but there's a space for them. And we do have some renderings. We didn't want to include these in our packets because we didn't want to put them on the public. We wanted Laramie to have some kind of surprise. But if I could pass these around, the one thing we're not going to do is the garage doors anymore because of, well, we figured out what you're going to do.
Thank you. While those are going around, are you okay if I open it up to questions for you? Councilor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. Just an idea of your time frame on getting all this done?
So we've been working on this plan for about 1.5 years now, and right now we have everything lined up. Our loan is ready to go, contractors are hired, we're just waiting for our building permit to come through.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions from council to the applicant right now?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else that you guys would like to add to this? Well, your drawings are going around.
No, except we're very excited.
Yeah, very excited to bring Laramie something different.
Can I ask a question of you, and that is, obviously you've described a bar area and could you tell me if there had only been a restaurant license available in Laramie versus a bar and grill, what does it having a bar and grill difference mean? And I'm asking you this question because I'd like to relay this to the legislature that was so kind enough to give us some more bar and grill licenses.
So the basic part, when in the last 1.5 years of planning, Tim and I, when we got together to decide to do this restaurant plan, we put out what we wanted to see ideally in a restaurant
from my business experience, his restaurant experience. And one thing was efficiency, and that's one thing the bar and grill license will bring us, so we don't have to go back to a dispensing area. And you have some points to add.
And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. You know, if I'm taking an order from a customer, being able to reach right behind me and, you know, function in one space instead of going behind a wall, leaving myself unavailable to customers, it really, having a bar and grill license really takes a couple steps out of the serving process. So it allows us to give better service overall, and spend our time more efficiently in there. In addition to that, it also allows us to create a slightly different atmosphere too, you know. Just take, for example, if I was to be, you know, going down on a Sunday and I want to go watch the Broncos game and I want to go watch it at a bar, none of my friends are around, I'm probably going to go to a place I can sit at a bar, talk to a bartender, watch the game, have a drink or two and go home, versus a place where it's just a restaurant with a couple of families and, you know, probably not going to feel too comfortable just sitting there by myself in the middle of a restaurant, you know, kind of hanging out. So it offers up a bigger market or a bigger area of the market for us, you know, and, you know, allows us to be a much more efficient operation. So,
On the other side, having a bar, we're doing something that not a lot of downtown restaurants, well, I guess a lot of restaurants, but not bars. We're not trying to be a late night place. We don't want that late night crowd. We're not going to be open past midnight on Friday and Saturdays. Latest we're going to be is midnight open, because we don't want that late night crowd. We're not going to be serving food after midnight, so we're not trying to be that place.
yeah. We're looking for a very specific atmosphere, which is not a lot of yelling and screaming, I think. So, yeah, so that's, you know, but we're also hoping to get this so that, you know, we can do things as, like I said, as efficiently as possible. So,
Counselor Schuster.
I don't know, if you're gonna have Broncos games on there, I think you're gonna have yelling and screaming. But, do you wanna share, and you can tell me no, do you wanna share a menu or anything?
It's on there. There's a
It's in
copy
the
there.
application.
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, that's okay.
Councilman, we didn't include the prices, so if you have questions about those, we can answer those for you.
I do have one other question for you, and then the question for the attorney. In the past, the city council has awarded, I believe, some of the bar and grills, but definitely the retail license contingent on construction being complete of the building.
Yeah.
Would that be an issue for you if council decided to do that this evening?
No, that's actually why we put the date of August, because we're hoping that we should be near completion or like pretty much there by the end of August. That's why we put that date in there. We're hoping that October the latest, if something bad happened with our project.
Okay, thank you. So, city attorney, would it be appropriate, if council wanted to, I'm just putting this based on what the council has done in the past, to make a contingent on a certificate of occupancy being issued for the address on the liquor license?
Let me look over at the clerk. Yeah, I mean,
Is that how we've done that in the
I can
past?
see no,
Yes,
I
that
see
is
no
fine.
problem with that.
Okay, that would need to be an amendment to the motion, though, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I will put that on the floor for council. We've done that in the past, I think, to secure the licenses, to make sure they're not issued out, and then not used, sitting there vacant. So, appreciate that. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay.
Mayor, just to clarify,
Please.
so you're saying until we get our occupancy, we could not get the license?
It would be issued, we would, if it were to be approved, and city clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, if it were to be approved tonight, then it would not be issued until you guys had the certificate of occupancy. Till you could open your doors and completed, then the city clerk would, there's a difference between awarding and issuing a license, and I'll let city clerk explain that better than I just did.
Your Honor, you're
okay?
right. Yep, you're right. So it would be awarded tonight, but it would not be delivered to them until the business is ready to be opened, to ensure that it will actually open.
We understand that. I just had experience where we didn't get our occupancy in one of my past projects until a year after we opened, so that's why. But this will be a little different.
So, Your Honor, if I
Please.
may.
Yep.
So while doing an amendment, instead of hooking it to a certificate of occupancy or something like that, you could just say when the business is open or when their facility is actually ready to be opened, that would be the beginning of their license.
Okay. City attorney, do you have any
No,
clarifications on those terms? Or words we should
Yeah,
use
did
if
you-
council wanted to put that on the floor?
Mayor, I was just going to chime in and say I won't let a business be open for a year. Because,
Not anymore.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So now I would open up to any other public that wants to comment on this specific license. All right, seeing none, back to discussion for council. Discussion. Counselor Schuster.
I'll make a comment. I know where this is all came from. When we issued brand-new liquor licenses, they only had so long to open. I know that one of the two, I'll just put it that way, and I completely believe in what they're doing and everything, so no, I'm not going to make an amendment or support one, because I think that they're going to try their hardest, their due diligence to get this up and going, especially because I don't want to say we revolve around the university, but yeah, we want that university business down there, so I know what they're going for.
Other discussion by council? All right. I will just make the comment that I support this project. I think this will be really, really good. My only thought in tying it to an occupancy or a date, like they have to be open within 12 months, that's something the council's had to do in the past, as Councilor Schuster has said, because we don't want those licenses sitting without being used. And I believe that they can right now, up to a year and then a 1-year extension. So it could be sitting for 24 months, potentially. And that's probably not what at least that's not what I would like to see our licenses do. So, any other discussion? All right, city clerk.
May I just make
Please.
one more clarification also? The city clerk's office will not actually issue the license until we do a final walkthrough and ensure that what was built is what came before council and what was approved, so that you do also have that safeguard in there too. I just want to make sure that you were aware of that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Councilor Henry?
Then a question is, so their license term they have on their permit as August 20th. So let's say they don't really open until August 25th and you issue the license on August 25th, then would those 5 extra days be added in that proration?
City clerk.
That is the will of council to decide. If you want to issue it on the 20th and they start paying on the 20th, whether or not they open, that's your choice. If you would like the opening date to be when they open and that be the start of their license, that's your choice.
Okay.
Right now, it is set to start on the August 20th, regardless of whether or not they're ready to open.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I will make one comment. We had the staff announcement on the proration. I think that for me, that's an important thing that council does consider, and I want to make sure the applicants know that there might be further discussion. At least I will request the council discuss the fee schedule and the proration to make sure we're all on the same page and really have vetted out what council wants to do with that. But I don't think that we should change anything tonight as far as issue dates or anything. Just leave it all. That would be my preference. So. Any further discussion on this license? City clerk, roll call, please.
McKinney.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Hanson absent. Gabriel.
Yes.
Pelikas absent. Shumway absent. Schuster.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Somerville. That's 6 yeses, 0 nos, and 3 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you. That motion carries. Congratulations, gentlemen. Item number 15, Councilor Schuster.
Thank you. The title is a new bar and grill license, Heritage Foods Company. I recommend that the City Council approve the application for bar and grill liquor license number BG-8 to Heritage Foods Company, DBA Heritage Foods, 216 East Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming, for the licensing term of July 19th, 2017 through May 7th, 2018, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Second by the vice mayor. City clerk.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a license or an application for a new bar and grill liquor license from Heritage Foods Company. The Liquor Division has testified that the application is complete. The applicant, I believe, is here. If you have any questions, I think they may want to do a brief presentation to you. And that is all I have for you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the city clerk on this license? Invite the applicants up. The podium is yours.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Ben Marks. I work with Blue Sky Restaurants. We're a hospitality group based here in Laramie. And we also have some documents that might not have been included in your initial packet that I'm happy to share with you. Kind of showcasing the space that we,
Nope.
sorry.
I apologize. I should have caught it before. It has to go through the city clerk.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
You can keep talking while she pot.
Okay, very good, sorry. Heritage Foods Test Kitchen, we want to model it as a test kitchen. What this is clean foods, foods that are healthy to provide, good in fats, grass-fed, grass-finished meats, natural chicken and pork, foods that don't have a high glycemic impact when you eat them, basically foods that we tend to have guilty pleasures in eating, but these are safe and healthy to eat. The interest in providing this is that we've had a lot of feedback from a number of businesses in the town, including healthcare professionals, fitness professionals, athletics. I'm sorry, yeah, if you don't mind, thank you. And on to dietitians and things like that have expressed an interest in asking whether or not we can provide those, and we feel that there's a justified interest to enter the market with a business like this. Just want to do, oh, perfect, thank you.
It's the right button.
So, Heritage Foods Test Kitchen is at 216 Grand, right by our friends and neighbors right over here. We really want to bring these progressive clean foods and beverages that are based on solid nutrition to our community. And Mayor, Council, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Questions for the applicant? Sorry, they get a little immersed in the.
That's okay.
And the drawings.
I gave you even more information on the PowerPoint too. So really, that's just kind of highlighting how much we've spent to date, how much we're looking to put into the project further, what types of jobs we're looking to create, both full and part-time. Heritage Foods, we have a vision that it also becomes a food wholesaler and a production program. So our initial phases, we would like to use the space that exists as a banquet facility until we do our first phase build out, which would be a retail grab and go. There's about 3,500 people that work within a quarter mile of 3rd and Grand, full and part-time. And we hope to provide food, both grab and go meal, ultimately meal subscription plans as well, for folks that are high busy lifestyles, people that have dietary needs, things like that, where we could provide meal plans as well for them to take home.
Could you describe for the public your timeline as far as your remodel, building, date you plan to open doors?
Well, the facility currently has a hood system in kitchen in it. It has a finished space for what we would like to use as soon as possible as a banquet facility, and then build out that first phase retail. If you'll notice on some of the first pictures, it's the bottom left of the storefront, and that space is a fairly small square footage. It seats about 5 with some space behind for a lounge type soft furniture seating, but really to accommodate guests that are on the go, in and out, need to get some food, or even can grab some of those prepared meals. If I understood the question, it's when would we like to begin using, as soon as possible, because we believe that the space exists for the banquet piece first. And we have noticed a need for some meeting space and banquet space, and this would allow us to provide food service as well as alcohol service in it. And because we have another restaurant with the catering company, Calverman Catering and Calverman Steakhouse, we could cater in the food and then provide the alcohol service with the bar and grill license.
That was gonna be my question, is with the banquet setting, what did you need the bar and grill license for?
Correct, yeah.
For in-house alcohol sales?
That's right. With the county permit, it's about a 5-week lead time, as you probably have experienced with us before, to do that. And then as soon as that initial phase of construction is complete, which we really would like to see that happen before first home football game.
Okay.
Because it is a smaller space to remodel, it still allows us to use the central part of the building that does have those beautiful oak wood floors and multiple access and egress points as well.
So your time frame, if I can just clarify for the build out of phase 1 is within the next few months?
That's ideal, absolutely.
Okay.
We are kind of, oh, please go ahead.
Finish your thought. And then
We've been in communication with contractors already, and we've previously used them for some other remodel projects at Calverman Steakhouse, so.
Okay. Councilor Gabriel?
Thank you. I remember this as the old Jacques of Laramie, and that was many years ago, and glad to see this coming back. Just curious about the grab and go and how much you want to promote that part of it.
Mm-hmm. You bet. Thank you very much, Councilman Gabriel, Mayor Somerville. We really advocate for the grab and go piece. There's a lot, just the busy lifestyle that we see a lot of the professionals in that part of the community, and not just downtown, but throughout the community. My family included I can't keep feeding myself and my child fast food, and I work, pretty late. And this provides an opportunity for folks to come in, and there will be not just chilled prepared foods, but also hot prepared foods that you could take and either eat at the park, right down the road, or go take home and eat at that time.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you.
Other questions for the applicant? All right, seeing none. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mayor, Council.
We'll open it up to any other public comments on this license? Seeing none, back to council for discussion. Any discussion from council on this item? Comments? All right, city clerk. Can you do roll call,
Sorry,
please?
Your Honor.
Nope, you're fine.
Yes, Schuster.
Yes.
Shumway absent, Polikis absent, McKinney.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Hanson absent, Gabriel.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes,
That's 6 yeses, 0 nos, and 3 absent, Your Honor.
thank you. That motion carries. Congratulations. Moving on to item number 16, that is Vice Mayor.
Okay, I move that City Council approve the application for bar and grill license number BG-7 to Arsenio Loomis Holding LLC DBA Los Compadres, 303 South 3rd Street, Laramie, Wyoming, for the licensing term July 19, 2017 through May 7, 2018, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
We have a second.
Second.
Second by Councilor Schuster. City clerk.
Yes, Your Honor, the application for Arsenio Loomis Holdings LLC has been received. It has been certified as complete from the Liquor Division. The applicant may be here to answer questions. I have no other information at this time.
Thank you very much. Any questions specifically for the city clerk? Councilor Henry.
It looks like on the question number 7, have you submitted a valid food service permit or application? Both yes and no are checked. Do we know which is true?
Your Honor, Councilor Henry, initially when the application was submitted, the answer was no. Since then, the applicant submitted an application to code enforcement, so the answer changed to yes.
Okay.
And so that's why it may look like there are 2 answers on there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for the city clerk? Okay. Invite the applicant up to the podium. Welcome. You need to introduce yourself for the record and give us an overview of what you're trying to do.
Arsenio Loomis, Honorable Mayor and Councilors. I apologize for coming before you so informally. I didn't expect to speak tonight. So I didn't expect to be up here. I apologize.
You're not, let me start with, you're not required to. If you don't want to, we're not gonna,
But
we don't hold anybody there
I
by force.
don't mind
so-
answering any questions. I just didn't expect to be here.
Okay.
That's all.
Would you like to give us an overview of your project? Or what you're
Yeah.
gonna use the license for?
Yes, well, the location on 3rd and Grand, which is the original Cowboy Bar. I think we would just like to make an old place new again and change the appearance on that corner a little bit.
Questions for the applicant? Counselor Henry?
I see on your plans that there is, I don't see a kitchen. So where will you be doing your cooking and preparing?
The kitchen would be set to, if you're facing the bar, it'll be set to the right of the bar, which would be on the south end of the bar.
Okay, the south end of the bar, where it says dance floor?
No, I don't believe so.
You mean east. Right, but the south of the bar is the dance floor.
He's saying the south end of the bar would be, you're looking.
South is that.
Yes, I know, for the direction, yeah.
Other questions for the applicant? Counselor Gabriel?
Thank you, Mayor. I know a lot of people are concerned about that corner, and in the past, it's not been the most attractive part of the city. Can you give me some idea of what your plans are for the outside area right now?
Where all the logs set right now, that would actually be converted to green space with some sitting. The whole exterior would be redone. I haven't decided whether it'll be a one-story or two-story. Some of that will be defined by the engineering on it. The whole exterior will be completely redone. A lot of what we had done, we actually did a full remodel on the Elcon when we were looking at the full retail or liquor license. We never benefited from that. We just ended up paying for all of it. So we'll take a lot of the same ideas and apply them to this corner, but it'll be nice.
Thank you.
Counselor McKinney?
Arsenio, are you saying that you're gonna take all that wood out that's on that corner and get rid of it and then
Yes.
put grass and landscaping and
Yes.
stuff, and you're gonna paint the building or reface it?
No, it would be a stone and stucco veneer is what it would be.
Other questions for anybody that hasn't asked yet? Counselor Henry? Or
Well, so I'm concerned about the amount of rent. I mean, it's really, really low. And I just wonder,
We're getting some compensation, some credit for the construction. The construction's gonna be expensive.
okay, so, but you want your license to start right away, but your remodeling hasn't started right away?
No, we are very, very busy with projects, but we would meet any timeline set by the city council. But flexibility would be appreciated. We are extremely busy.
I have a question for you. So the sketch that you provided in the packet that we have is just a pretty simple outline of the building as it sits right now.
Exactly.
So do you have, I mean, this would be, in my estimation, for this corner, what it needs is a pretty extensive remodel.
Exactly, and that would be done by Gertz Baker as it has been done in the past.
So is
So
there
I
a reason that you don't have drawings or an idea of what that, or I should ask, do you have an idea of the dollar amount of the investment that you would be making in this building?
I do.
Would you be willing to share that with us?
Sure, it would be anywhere between 500,000 and $1 million.
Usually, from my experience, what we've done in the past, we usually have pretty extensive drawings to look at, especially with a remodel or a new build. You can certainly understand these licenses are very valuable and there's very few to go around, so we have to make sure that we're putting a license into a project that's going to go. So is there a reason that you haven't, it doesn't look like you've done any engineering or conceptual drawings or provided any of that to the city?
These are all strong contacts that exist in other work that I do. So for me to put them together, I can do them fairly efficiently. It's just something that I don't want to be put in the same position I was with the Elcon, where I'm investing a lot of money and I end up absolutely nothing. I had a substantial amount of money that I invested in there. I paid cash for it, and I'm empty-handed, so I don't want to do that again.
Other questions? Councilor Henry?
So why didn't you just do the bar and grill for the Elcon location?
Well, I don't believe that, at least I wasn't aware that there was a bar and grill available at that time. And
No, I mean this time, right now.
Oh, it's just, I'm not interested in going back to that location, okay? Though, I'm just not interested in going back there. I met all my commitments at that location, and I'm done.
Other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you. Oh, Counselor McKinney, I'm sorry.
About how long do you think the remodel is going to take? When do you think that you could actually finish it?
Like I said, I would appreciate some flexibility then. Again, I apologize, Mayor and Counselor. I would appreciate flexibility on that just from the perspective that I have other obligations, but I will prioritize as needed depending on what kind of timeline the City Council will set.
Okay, and then do you at least have a start date of construction of tearing out that corner and starting green space out there?
That is to be determined. I would have that answer within about 3 weeks. I'm waiting for somebody to, I'm actually waiting for the landlord to come in so we can discuss what is going to be tolerable and okay with him.
Any other questions? Counselor Schuster?
Arsenio, I don't want to put a time frame on you on when it's going to be built, because I'm afraid you're saying that we're going to demand you be open on such and such date. We didn't do it on anybody else, so if you could just keep us updated, that'd be great. I mean, that's all I'm going to ask. I'm not going to, because I know you got a lot of work, because you're always busy every single year I talk to you, so I'm fine with this. So, I mean, I don't think the $4,000 is one of the least things you're worried about for a bar and grill liquor license. Some of the other stuff is going to be your big ticket items, so.
Honorable Mayor and Councilor Schuster, I appreciate that comment because you're absolutely right. And as you know, we've been hit with those hailstorms in Cheyenne and Wheatland, and we just finished a good-sized project over on 267 Ivinson, so we've had our hands full. So I appreciate the consideration. Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This time I'll open it up for public comment on this bar and grill license. Seeing none, back to council discussion on this license. I guess I'll start with some comments. For a bar, I think these bar and grill licenses are really valuable, and I think the previous 2 applications had a lot more substance to them than this one. What I'd like to do is ask Mr. Levis to go back and do drawings, some engineering. That's a very important corner for the city of Laramie, and we've had a lot of trouble with the last few years with complaints, and everybody's not real happy with what's going on there. I think it would be appropriate to ask him to put more stuff together and come back to the city council with another application. I have serious concerns about the amount of rent that is being charged and what is going on there. The original application from Mr. Palumbo shows he's paying $2,500 per month, I believe, or $1,500. I have to pull it up now. But it was a substantial sum of money versus $100 a month is concerning to me. I have concerns about the kitchen facilities without a massive remodel in that building being appropriate for a bar and grill. The last applicant was essentially running microwaves and a grill out on a patio at that location. So I think that we need to make sure that those are adequate, and I don't see that yet in this application packet, so I'm very concerned. I guess I will leave my comments at that. It would be my preference to City Council that we ask Mr. Lemus to come back with a much fuller application where we can answer questions. What's the exterior going to look like? What is the remodel going to look like before we approve the application? Any other discussion by council? Councilor Henry.
I was going to say kind of the same thing. I'm concerned that the plans they're not well thought out, and just, I don't know, I'm going to be voting no on this application because I think it needs to be a little more well thought out.
Any other discussion from council? City Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Schuster.
Yes.
Shumway, absent. Pelikas, absent. McKinney.
Yes.
Henry.
No.
Hanson, absent. Gabriel.
Yes.
Pierce.
No.
Somerville.
No.
That is 3 yeses and 3 nos, Your Honor.
That
And-
motion,
Sorry, and 3 absent.
thank you, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That motion fails. I just want to let the applicant know that you are very welcome to come back with another application for a bar and grill license. Tonight, we've only given 2 of the 6 new licenses that are available to the city of Laramie through the legislative action. So I would invite you to bring back another application. Moving on to our next item, which is item number 17, Counselor Henry.
That would be me.
That is you.
I move that council approve original ordinance number 1965, amending Laramie Municipal Code, Chapters 5 and 12, regarding special event and 24-hour alcohol permits on second reading.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Gabriel. City Clerk.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a second reading of the ordinance changes that we discussed I'm sorry, I was thinking about the other liquor license things. Let me get my brain back on track here.
You're multitasking very well.
I'm multitasking today. The permit fees for special events in Chapter 12 were not adjusted. We missed that there was also a cross-reference when we did our previous section of liquor license changes. And then also the reference to the special event and 24-hour alcohol permitting to the online system. There's just some wording in ordinance. So this is just to clean up a couple things. And then the dollar fee for the application fee for microbrewery and winery permits should be changed to a reference to the resolution that was passed on June 6th of 2017.
Thank you. Questions for City Clerk on this, I believe, the second reading? Seeing none, open it up to public comment on this item. Seeing none, back to City Council for discussion. Any discussion on this item? Any comments on this item? City Clerk, roll call, please.
Henry.
Yes.
Hanson absent. Gabriel.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Polikis absent. Shumway absent. Schuster.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
That's 6 yeses, 0 nos, and 3 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, that motion carries. Item 18 was deleted. We will move on to number 19, which is public comment on non-agenda items. Do we have any public comment on non-agenda items tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 20, which is consideration of future council work session topics. Anybody have any suggestions?
I do have one.
Please, Counselor Schuster.
I would like it stated what is allowed on our jogging and bike trails. I think we need to discuss it. We have people riding electric bikes, what do they call them, segways and
Segways.
everything else. And we are letting one group run electric powered vehicles that are basically charged up by a coal fire generation plant, because that still provides 85% of electricity in Laramie, but we tell other people they can't have this. So I think we need to come up with some rules, because it's some people are getting a little abusive on trails.
Okay. Is there support for that work session?
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds like a good,
All right.
something to talk about.
Janine has her hand up.
Please, City Manager.
Mayor and Council, I'd be certainly happy to report back to the council with respect to management policy for use of those bike paths. But I think it's important as well we differentiate between what is allowed and what people get away with. And so I'm not sure, Councilor Schuster, if those are things that have been allowed. I don't believe so. So we could, I'm thinking in lieu of a work session, or if you'd like it in a work session, we can tell you what our policies are. And then if there's an enforcement issue that we're unaware of, we can look into that. Or if the policy is insufficient, management's policy, then we can talk about what it should be. Does that kind of seem like what you're hoping to do?
I think that hits it right on. Other suggestions for work sessions from council? So I have 2 suggestions to make. The first is trying to do stuff in a timely manner. So next year will be the City of Laramie's 105th anniversary, 150th anniversary, not 105th, 150. And I would like to start conversations about a multifaceted group to work on some celebratory things with tourism and whoever that might be interested in doing that. And I think it doesn't, not something we need to talk about in the next month or two, but
Yeah, but it comes fast.
it comes fast. You are absolutely
We were
right.
talking about it earlier tonight together because the plaque that I gave Robert Fuller, the movie actor, celebrated since he did the Laramie TV series, was the 150-year plaque.
Next year.
And I'm also on the Historic Railroad Depot Board, and they're gonna put a big celebration together. I think we should all join forces and help each other out.
Might not even be the city necessarily leading it, maybe just issuing the invitation and getting some other groups to whip it up, but is council okay with that? Okay. My second request is more city business orientated, and that is, as we get into the fall, I have been asked by WHAM and some legislators to continue to work on revenue options and revenue legislation for this upcoming session, and I will need the assistance of the city manager and the finance manager in calculations, and I would also like to bring something back to the city council, probably late this fall, maybe November, December, for a more full discussion. But I think I would need city council's support to continue to work on that and take up the city manager's time with that.
Do we vote on that?
I just need to know if you guys are in support of it. If you guys are okay with that, we'll put it on the work session list for an update in the late year, and I'll continue to work on it. But I will need city staff support on those.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, thank God.
Okay.
If our city manager's okay with it.
I'm not sure what I'm getting into.
Possibly, before you sign up, possibly a few more hours a month of crunching numbers on different types of legislation for revenue options for the city.
And I'm assuming that means WHAM has no experts, that I thought they had contracted with folks to do this study.
The study, but this would be separate. I'm starting to get requests from legislators on different types of legislation and what those numbers are, and I can't crunch them myself. I can't respond, yeah.
No, I fully understand that. I guess my concern would be, when I know more, maybe we can talk about it more. But frankly, your staff aren't necessarily well empowered to crunch numbers for other municipalities either.
No, just Laramie's.
Nor do we
Yeah,
often
just
want to
Laramie's.
put ourselves in that position, but Laramie
No.
numbers, you got us.
Just all I'm talking about right here is just Laramie numbers, just Laramie directed legislation of when a legislator from Sheridan asks, what does this do for Laramie on this particular bill, I'd like to be able to give them an answer.
We would do that anyway.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, we're getting to that point where it seems like it's more and more work, and I want to make sure that everybody's on board with that, so. Okay. All right, any other work session topics? All right. Counselor Schuster, item number 21, you get one shot at this.
Yeah, adjournment to executive session regarding litigation, Wyoming State Statute 16-4-405, Exemption 3, and land negotiation, Wyoming State Statute 16-4-405, Exemption 7, confidential information, State Statute 16-4-405, parentheses A, Exemption 9, personnel, State Statute 16-4-405, parentheses A, statute, or exemption 2.
Second.
Second by Counselor Henry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned to executive session for all of those reasons.